Jenny Turner with Lovejoy Real Estate. I'm super excited today to talk to Mikayla on the team. She's been with us about 3 years and doing super well and going to share some of her secrets of success with us.
My name is Mikayla Holmes. I'm with Lovejoy Real Estate. I'm a realtor and I've been licensed for about 3 years now. Yeah.
So we love having you on the team.
Oh.
Talk to us a little bit about how the 3 years have gone. Like, what's been working for you is real estate, because you came from preschool background, right, as a teacher. How is this different? What are you loving about it? What's harder than you expected? That kind of thing.
Oh my goodness. Well, I feel like I hit the ground running like 3 years ago because that's when things were crazy during COVID. Interest rates were so low. So I feel like I had a bit of an advantage that way.
Yep.
But I have continued to just keep it going since then. I feel like being a teacher, this is something you've said to me a long time ago, being a teacher in real estate is similar because we're herding cats.
Yep. And lots of education, right? We're teaching people about the home buying process, the home selling process. And so there is a whole component of education in that.
Absolutely. And I love teaching people and like educating them, helping them through the process, guiding them and showing them, you know, how to do things. So I do really love that aspect of it.
Why did you decide real estate?
Gosh, you know, one of my best friends in high school, her mom was a realtor, and all through high school, I wanted to be a realtor, but then I went to U of O, I went off to college, I studied social work in the education school, so I kind of went that route, but it was always in the back of my head, and I just love houses, and I love making more money.
Did you know I always wanted to be a teacher?
Yes.
And then I got into grad school, and it was like $35,000 for grad school. And I was going to make $35,000. And I'm like, that just does not make any sense to me.
Exactly.
But I never even knew there were agents. And like, I didn't even know there was a career. Growing up, I never even my parents never bought or sold houses. And like when they did, they bought it from a neighbor for sell by owner. So like I had no idea it was a career until I kind of accidentally stumbled onto it.
Yeah.
So I think it's great that you like always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
You've had lots of success on social media, especially recently. And especially on TikTok.
Yes.
So talk to me about what you're doing on TikTok.
Gosh, well, I'm not doing very much. I will say that. I'm doing very simple videos. I do like a one-take walkthrough video of a cute house usually, and then I speed it up, add some fun music, have a little caption, and for some reason that's been like really blowing up for me, and it's just really interesting. And I am working with 5 different clients from TikTok. I've closed 2 of them actually, so I have like 3 or maybe 4 right now.
Off of a walkthrough video?
Yes, after a couple ones that have just gone kind of viral in the area. And so, yeah, I'm working with someone from like Oklahoma right now that's moving here. So I'm connecting them with an agent in Oklahoma to sell their home, and they're gonna move here. So it's very interesting what kind of connections you get from social media world.
And are they all young? Or
no, you would think they would all be young millennials, Gen Zers. Most of them are, but I'm working with someone that's middle-aged, going through a divorce. He found me on TikTok, which is funny, and he thought that was funny too, and he was a little embarrassed, but it's
it's whatever works, right?
I know.
So TikTok's working for you. What other social media are you active on?
Yeah, so I'm on Instagram all day, every day, just scrolling, but I always, I posted stuff there too. I have a lot of my sphere and, friends, family, people I have met maybe a couple times on Instagram. So I have like a big following there. Not a big following, but.
Are you purposeful with that? Like, if you meet somebody, do you go follow them on Instagram as part of your process?
Yep, always.
Got it. And are you posting the same content on Instagram as you do on TikTok?
No, I do a lot of more like personal life stuff. I try to keep it balanced with like personal life and then like houses and like cute houses. I'm always like posting the cute stuff, but I will say the ugly houses do get a lot of responses.
That's one of my favorite tricks is like sometimes the really gross, disgusting ones.
Exactly.
You can get a lot of engagement that way too, right?
Like that wall with all the black mold. I got so many responses from that. I know.
So getting some clients from social media. Where else are you finding people who want to buy or sell houses?
Gosh, I think like 85% of my business last year was just like people I know and like friends and like friends of friends. So last year, a lot of my business was that. I feel like it's a little bit different this time or this year, just because I do have more like social media people and like clients.
Some outside people coming in. Still people that are finding you.
Yep.
But not quite as not quite direct to a connection.
Exactly. But yeah, a lot of just like people I know, which is it's a lot more fun when I work with friends and friends of friends, family of friends. So
what do you do? Like, talk about your week, right? Like, what do you do to make sure you're staying connected with those people who are referring you, using you to buy or sell a house? Like, what are you doing in your schedule to make sure you're connected? Yeah,
I feel like I set a time in the morning to like follow up with them, reach out to them, maybe like call them. I don't really know.
Yep. Message them, right?
Yeah. So the follow-up's really important.
I know you've also been really working hard on saying yes, right? If people invite you to things, you're trying to be like, yes, I'll go, I'll do it. Because sometimes like those events and those social things are part of our job.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Like that's getting in front of people and having and talking to them.
And I feel like I'm an introverted extrovert, or maybe the other way around, extroverted introvert. Which one is it? But I feel like I'm kind of a homebody. Like I love spending time at home, but I do kind of force myself to go out, even though I might want to just be home for the night.
Yep.
But I feel like that does really help.
It is part of our job, right? Like that's just part of what we have to do. And it's also good for you, like your soul, to like see people and do things.
Yes.
Speaking of being at home though, something exciting happened to you this year.
Yes, I bought a house. It's been 3 months now, I think. So that was a big milestone and goal of mine. So now I just have to find the next goal, which I think is to like move up, because now that I live in like a townhouse and I am on the end, so it feels like a detached home. But now that I'm in there, I'm like, it'd be really nice to have like a detached home. So I feel like I'm moving in the direction of wanting to save money for my next step. And that is helping me launch to the next step. So it's nice. I got my foot in the door.
Yep. Well, and as you get appreciation on what you buy, that's going to help be a stepping stone for you too, right? Absolutely. Plus, you're not paying rent and you're doing all those things, and it's really cute.
Yeah,
that's the nice thing, right?
Yes.
But we work a lot like with the agents on what's the why, right? And so like that was a big why for you.
It was.
But you've also had some small whys over the year, right? Like little things like goals that you set and like, hey, we did this, I did it. And I think that helps all of us as we work towards like when you say I want to sell 24 houses or whatever that number is, that's such a big number. Yeah. It's nice when you can celebrate some of those little like, hey, I have 7 pending, or hey, I did this, or right now you're super motivated because like you got a bunch of stuff closed. And now it's like, where are the next clients coming from?
Absolutely.
And keeping that consistency in your day and your schedule help go through with that, right? Like, because we don't want to like roller coaster our career, right? We don't want to be really busy then really slow, really busy then really slow.
And it's so easy to get into that habit of just like the roller coaster, but it's so consistency. And that's my word of the year, actually. So it's on my little keychain on my bag. So I look at it every day. I try to keep really consistent, but it is hard when you like get really busy. I had 4 closings last month, so like a lot of my time was with that, but now it's like a little slower. So it's just the ups and downs of real estate. So
how does the team at Lovejoy help you manage that?
Gosh, well, I feel like the admin team does a lot of that. We have 7 days a week, so that really helps me like get offers started, helps me keep organized within my transactions, sending out the emails that I don't want to be sending out about like paperwork and things. So that really helps me.
Just kind of keeping the process moving along for you.
Exactly.
Do you use them to like make showing appointments and that kind of thing as well?
I do, yeah. If I have like if I have a day where I'm showing like 6 houses in a row and I don't have the time to like schedule that, they'll map it out on a little map, which is wonderful, and they'll like get it all
make all the appointments for you.
Yeah. So that's
that
nice.
That kind of that just saves so much time.
It does.
How do you handle the negativity around social media? Because obviously you get some negative comments on your posts and things like that, right?
So I think one of the reasons why I went viral is because a lot of people were commenting negative things about Portland and just like things they see in the news. They've never even been to Portland, but they're seeing
their perception.
Exactly. Yeah, I usually just ignore those comments. I really try to comment back on the people that are saying positive things about Portland and how much they love the city, but for the most part, I'm just kind of ignoring the negative things. So,
do you comment on everybody who comments?
I try to, but if there's thousands and hundreds of comments, I can't really get to all of it, but I try to.
But you try to set that engagement.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when those people reach out to you, how are they reaching out to you?
A lot of the times people comment on my TikToks and they like ask questions. They're like, how can I see this home? And then I usually direct message them. Sometimes they find my contact information, like my email or my phone number, and they call me and want to set up a time to meet. So that's
and they say, hey, I found you on TikTok?
Yes. I feel like some people don't like to say that because they're a little embarrassed. But I would say most of the people.
But overall.
Yeah.
What's been really hard in real estate? Like what part of it's the most challenging for you?
Keeping motivated is probably hard. Keeping the consistency, like I talked about earlier, it's just hard to not have a boss. I mean, you're kind of my boss, but you're not like down my throat every morning, and
you still have to run Mikayla's business.
Exactly,
right?
And it's so nice that it's flexible, and I can wake up at 10 o'clock in the morning if I wanted to.
Not best practice.
Not best practice, but if I had to, like I'm not going to get fired over it. So. It's hard though to keep that momentum going, keep consistency.
And I think that's something that like a lot of agents get into real estate because they want that flexibility and freedom. But if you want to be successful in real estate,
Exactly.
you need some accountability, right? And as we layer in Daniel in his new role, that's going to give all of you guys a little bit more accountability as well.
Right.
And that's going to be good and bad, right? There's going to be some benefits to that, and it should help you all get more deals. And it's also going to be annoying, right? Like just that is going to be part of it.
I know.
I had an agent leave a long time ago. She was a brand new agent. She got licensed, came to the team. She was only here for like a half a minute. And when I did an exit interview with her, I asked her, you know, like, why is this not working? Now I knew why for me it wasn't working, but for her, like, why is this not working? And she's like, oh, there's way too much accountability. Like you want me to actually like make phone calls and call people and talk to people. I'm like, yeah, I do. That's true. But like that accountability is part of the team, right? Like there is some things. We're all full-time agents. We're all doing this. We don't work at Starbucks or drive Uber Eats at the same time. And so we have to be consistent with our activities so that we can sell enough houses.
Yep, exactly. And I feel like the difference with you personally, you actually care about us and like us doing well. I genuinely believe that. So I think that really helps too. You're not just, you know, laying down the law for no reason.
Right. It's proven methods, right?
Yes, exactly.
Like even when we had a conversation a little bit ago, it was like, hey, you've laid off doing TikTok videos. I'm like, it was working. Why did you stop? Right. It's just that reminder to be consistent, because we all do that. We all do things that like are working really well in our life.
Right.
And then we stop doing it or don't do it as much. And then we wonder why it doesn't work anymore.
Yep. Exactly.
It's just kind of pushing through on that. So if we talk about other agents out there who want to build their social media following, they also want to be able to say, hey, they have 5 clients from TikTok. I heard consistency.
That's what I was going to say.
I heard like just like doing it. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't have to overthink it. You don't have to like spend a bunch of hours editing something. Right? What else? Like any other tips to make them, you know, to be super successful that way? I haven't quite figured it out.
It's better to get it pushed out, even if it's not perfect, than to not do it at all. So I feel like that's a big one.
Done is better than perfect.
Exactly. Yes.
How do you leverage Lovejoy's marketing team on the social side of things?
Well, it's really nice that we have an in-house photographer and videographer because he does so much content for me. He has separate little private photo shoots with me. Like we did one in the cherry blossoms last year. And I feel like I'm still using those photos from over a year ago. So just things like that, and just having updated headshots whenever I want them is really helpful.
The lifestyle shots that you can blend into the rest of your marketing, and you can do that.
Yeah.
Do you use any of the like social media stuff that comes out on Mondays? Do you layer that into your social media?
I do. Yeah, I try to. It's really nice to have that, like even like just having the reminder on Mondays of like, you need to post something. And then I usually just kind of pick and choose like what I think resonates with me the best. And I put it on all platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn even. So I do try to push it out that way.
I think that's a key, right? Because you're organic. Like it has to be organic to you. People who follow you, people who want to work with you, want to work with Mikayla. So they need to see in your marketing, which is social media, right? They need to see who they are, who you are, and how you work and what you do. Because if they know, like, and trust you, they'll work with you. And social media is one of the ways that people who you already know continue to get to know you better, but also new people can get to know you.
Exactly. And it's funny, I feel like all of the clients I've gotten from social media and TikTok specifically, I like love them. They're like my friends at this point.
They're your people.
They're my people. And it's so funny that they like picked me out of, you know, whoever else is on TikTok, but they're my friends now. So it's fun in that way too.
That's a nice observation, right? Like it really makes it work for both of you. And we all know, like, we work with some weird people sometimes, right? So it's nice when we get to work with our friends, or we work with people who are like us, or we just thoroughly enjoy working with them.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that you said was when you got licensed and you started, things were a little bit easier, right? Because it was crazy, banana COVID world, and real estate was skyrocketing, and everybody was buying or selling. Real estate's hard. And I think people don't realize that real estate's hard. What do you do on those days that real estate is hard and nothing's going like you want it to go? What do you do to kind of self-motivate yourself, get yourself back in there, mindset? How do you handle that?
I feel like coming into the office really helps with that because I'm surrounded by people that are doing the same things as me. If I'm just like working at home, I don't always have that same motivation as I do in the office. So that's a big one. I feel like circling back to like my why really helps. And right now, my why, a couple months ago, my why was to buy a house. But now, in this moment in my life, it's to not foreclose on my house.
And we're working on your why, being more positive and negative.
Yes.
But that is it, right? And that's where I was sitting with an agent yesterday, and we were talking about like paying off some credit card debt and like really focusing and laying in on that because it is what's motivating you right in that moment. For me right now in the moment, it's paying for Ryan's private school. Like he loves being at Callan, but it's expensive. So I have to work extra hard if I want to accomplish that, right?
Exactly.
But some days it's hard because some days I feel like nothing goes right, right? Everybody you talk to, like they just walked into an open house and bought with somebody else, or they're not ready for 6 months or a year or 2 years. And so it's really focusing on that consistent behavior and those consistent activities, right? So we always have a deep enough bench and pipeline to make it go through.
Yeah.
So you bought a house. We talked about that. Do you think that if you would have stayed being a preschool teacher, you could have bought that house this year?
Absolutely not. No, I was not making nearly as much money as I am now, which I'm very grateful for, and it's really important to me. So yeah, just getting in the door with this townhouse is really important because I feel like I have a dream of wanting a very cute, dialed-in bungalow that's remodeled, like in Laurelhurst.
Like everyone in Portland, right?
East Side, yep. So that I feel like is the only thing that's going to get me. Not the only thing. I feel like that is really going to help me get to the next chapter of my life, which is going to be that.
So keep this for a couple years, let some equity grow, continue to grow your career where you could take on a bigger mortgage and launch into the next property. We work on that with our first-time home buyers a lot, right? Like this isn't a forever house. You're not going to live in whatever you buy today probably forever. You know, people will say, oh, I'm going to live there 5 or 7 years. And I'm like, practically probably 2 or 3 years, 4 years, right? Like people get in a relationship or have a baby or do things. And so it is just that like buying something today so that you can stop paying rent and start having some equity grow.
Exactly. And when I did purchase my condo, I did have in the back of my mind that I might want to keep it as a rental one day. So it depends on my situation, obviously, ahead of time. But I would love to start my rental
portfolio.
My rental portfolio. So, and I admire you for that because I feel like you've kept almost every house you've bought.
And I so regret the ones we sold. Like the ones we sold, I'm like, why? But I mean, at the time we needed to, right? But it's such a great way that at some point those will be paid off. They're not paid off yet, but at some point they will be paid off and that passive income will go through. And I think that's where if you start young enough, like you're starting way younger than I started, but if you start young enough, it also just makes it easier because that compound effect just goes through. You know, you take even Christian on the team who just bought a second house and kept his first one as a rental. That's part of what our culture at Lovejoy is, right? Like that wealth building, it's paying your taxes and being adults and owning homes and then helping our clients, right? Helping our clients transform that. I met with clients 2 weeks ago and mom just passed away from breast cancer, super sad. And I know the whole family's worked with me. And I sat down with one of the sisters who inherited the house and we were talking about it. And I'm like, you guys have been talking to me ever since I met you about having rentals. Why would you not keep this house as a rental? And they're like, we've been thinking about it. I'm like, you should. Like as long as you can separate the fact that it was mom's house, as long as it's not going to hurt your heart to have a tenant in mom's house, they should keep it as a rental. And I'm sure they will. They haven't got back to me yet. They're still processing everything. But it makes sense for them. It's logical for them. And so sometimes as real estate consultants, we aren't telling people to use us. We're helping them with whatever the next step is, whatever that next stage is. But for Trish, she should totally keep it as a rental. And so it's just figuring that part out, right? And I told her if she didn't want to keep it as a rental, I'd buy it as a rental.
And see, that's what sets you apart from other agents because maybe another agent would walk in there and tell them that they should sell it, even though they might know in the back of their head that they should keep it as a rental. So,
and not everyone should have rentals because rentals are hassle. Like not everyone needs to do that. But it's all those opportunities, right? Like it's just helping figure out like what are all those opportunities, what's going to make the best choice. And we want those long-term relationships. So right now you're building the foundation for past clients and Sphere buying and selling for the next 20 years, right? Thanks so much, Mikayla, for coming. We really appreciate your tips today. Jenny Turner with Lovejoy Real Estate. Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Talk. Follow us and like us and listen to us wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Thank you, Jenny, so much for having me. I appreciate it. If anyone's looking to buy or sell a house, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram. It's Mikayla Holmes, or on TikTok, it is Homes by Holmes.